Hello guys, it's me, Memory Hunter, and welcome to my video. I'll be showing you how you can get started with feature phone preservation at home with no phones or tools required. You may have checked HitSafe's blog post and got here, or just searched up feature phone related stuff and somehow this video popped up. Well, either way, thanks for tuning in. Um, Thank you for wanting to do something for feature phones and preserve the history. And let's get started. First, let me discuss what we're going to be going through in this whole video. So first, I'm going to be talking about what is web scraping, how does it work, and how you get to be one of web scrapers, if you will. Then I'll go through how to know what to look for, utilize search engines, and use the power of their filters to actually get to the destination you want to and to get the results you want to. Then I'll be discussing how to find and seek games once you land on a website, which would be a possible candidate of having feature phone games, archiving the games from the sites when you get the games, tips and tricks from personal experience, since this is a pretty much undocumented stuff, and I would say I was the first one to do all this, so I would like to share my own information or two words about it. And then lastly, we'll discuss about possible obstacles that you might stumble upon, and some of them can be helped and some of them can't. We'll get to the details later. So now I'll get started with what web scraping is. Essentially, web scraping is the process of using some kind of automated tool or script to just extract the data from a website. Uh, but here's the difference here. Um, Mainly, you're going to be the bot or the automated tool that's going to do the job, since we're essentially working on websites that haven't really been explored. Some of them might not even show up in the search engine itself and should be linked from another website. And so, by this, of course, you may have to utilize some kind of script to automate some stuff. For example, I have used Python before to write certain scripts which automated some of the processes that I had to go through. So you could utilize some Python scripts, maybe in some other language of your whichever one you prefer, that can, well, of course, accomplish the same thing. But mainly, what you will be doing is doing a lot of searching uh, in the code with inspect element, so you can actually locate some games. Now we will go into the second section, and that is how to know what to look for, utilize search engines, and use the power of filters. Well, for this, um, I have a website uh, which is linked in the post in the Google documents, so that's on HitSave blog post. In here you can see Google search operators, the complete list of 42 advanced operators. And with this, you can essentially specify what you're looking for. And we have a bunch of stuff over here. You have Boolean operators here, uh, which you can search certain terms and require the query to actually include this, or sometimes you can include both, like to make sure that both of them are in there. For example, also you can search for a site, for a specific site. You can get all the pages that the search engine will be able to return. For example, so you can use in title, which will help you find a certain term in the name of the website. By name, I mean this here, over here, the title of the HTML page. Also, in URL is an extremely useful thing, because this is about, with this, you can essentially specify a domain name for a site, which will come in handy once I show you how to preserve an example website and show you how you can get the games from it. Otherwise, you can check all of the other filters over here and see whichever ones will fit of your use and utilize them correctly. This is one of the most crucial stuff here, and it really helps out um, if you're going to get into this. Now, how to know what's essentially to look for? We get the filters, right? But now, how to actually what to apply those filters to? Well, um, there are certain things you could do, use the filters on. For example, let's try to check one of the website collections that I have uploaded. For example, that is. Now, we can look for certain patterns here in the website domains. There are certain hosting websites. For example, we have xria.com. For example, we have zero.jp. For example, we have biglobnejp. Now, these are general hosting websites, and as experience shows, these hosting websites were mostly used to for users, Japanese users, to have uploaded their own personal stuff. I've stumbled a bunch of those pages with amazing diversity of what kind of content they were uploaded on them, and well, what do you know? iMode games, Easy Web or SoftBank games were in one of them. Um, so, for example, let's just pick the ending here of xria.com. This could be a good candidate of an iMode page to search for. Now, what we'll utilize here is the um, in URL filter. This will actually specify, with this we will specify um, that we want websites ending with xria.com. So just copy it, paste it in here, and write xria.com. Now, how to pair the website? Okay, the websites are one thing because the website may contain a bunch of other stuff. But now, generally what to look for. For example, you could pick up basic terms such as i-appli, iMode, and certain abbreviations of those uh, words, since some experience shows that, well, most of the sites have it in them. The word is at least mentioned once, albeit in katakana or Latin. So, what we can do here, just simply go to Google Translate, type in i-appli, well, not in this one, we need a dash here. Just pick it, paste it in here, and we will now also utilize one of the filters here. You can use an exact match search. You can use the I think these are called double columns or something, whatever they are called. Just use them, paste it in them, and just have, let's say, appli in there. Or you can pair this with or, and now let's try to put in maybe iMode. You can just pick the term here, paste it in. We can also use Latin version of those, make it maybe appli, or just pick mode because the I with a dash is not really commonly used, but mode will suffice. And generally, this is one of the queries that could be useful, and just go ahead and search for it. Now, you're gonna have to actually go through a lot of those pages because you may not stumble upon stuff straight away, but here is one of the candidates. As you can see, it mentions JPhone, Java, applications here. This looks like a good candidate to go for. Now just open it, check around, and you may actually find something here. And also, this could be a great way to now move on to the next part. So now we're moving on to the third part, and this is once you land the website, how to find and seek the games. Since this is a website and we have a candidate here, we have found a candidate. Now we need to look for the game itself. First things first, essentially just look around the website. That's one of the ways to go here. We have an icon here. We may go in there and looks like we have some sort of application here as it looks like. Um, then you can just search around if there's a download page, and as you can see, there is one. Now, there might be certain concerns about this. Once you click download, it might not be up. And this is just another casual day for somebody who tries to archive stuff easily. Now, this is where archive.org comes in, our Google friend, which will kind of help us in this if possible, if it's not too late. First, you just copy the download link, insert it in the Wayback Machine, and just see the history if they have saved something, if the website is not running up in time. As you can see, app-get was one of the distribution websites and seems to just redirect us over there. And looks like it just redirected us on the main page, which is not a good sign generally. Looks like it hasn't exactly saved the page over here. Try searching in all possible years that you can, but in this case it seems like we're not in luck because all of those websites result in a redirect. So one can say that this website is well, not this website, but this game is sort of lost. Now go back and maybe search for something else. We have this rock, paper, scissors, and as we can observe, the same sort of site is present, and one can assume that this is not going to work as well, which is unfortunate. But we have now stumbled upon one of the websites that was a candidate, but as you can see, it has been 21 years since this website was probably ever even edited on, which is unfortunate. So, general rule of thumb is just go searching, and if you find a website which is a candidate, make sure to just check it out the way I did, and maybe you'll stumble upon something useful. Now I'm going to pause the video and try to search for a website which may have a game, actually show you how to, well, find it, and then we will move on to the fourth part, which is archiving the game from the site itself. Well, after searching a few pages and also specifying and going downward and fiddling around with the search terms, you have to somehow narrow down to a certain keywords essentially. This is how the searching process goes. If you are not able to find the website, but I just narrowed it down and I found one of the websites, just go in here. As you can see a few of the games here. So look around the website, just maybe try to find what kind of stuff they have and just go in here, one of those. And when you see these kind of windows over here, this plugin isn't supported. This is a good sign that you have found something. Now to move on with this. This is a live website which is up. Not all of those will be up, so you have two choices. To essentially know somehow if a website existed, and then use the Wayback Machine to search in here, as I did for the previous website that unfortunately didn't have their applications up anymore, or just search for the live website. Now, moving to the fourth part here, this is essentially how to archive the game from the site you may have found. Now, general thing is, it's pretty simple, straightforward. Right click, inspect the element. Now, what you have to search for is an element called a jam file, and for an object which has data ending in jam. So a jam file is a descriptor for the jar file, which is essentially the game executable itself for the phone. What you can do here, the general rule of thumb is just to double click on it, copy the file name here, go to the website itself, remove the remove the text from the right of the last slash, put on a slash, well, just don't delete the slash, paste the jam file, copy the link, we'll use it later, and now press enter. And as you can see, if you're lucky and the file is still up, it will start downloading and has downloaded. Now, what we also require is now the executable. I'll paste the link you just copied, replace the M with an R, click enter, and what do you know? Generally, the executables have same name type, essentially. Sorry, not the name type, the same name. And as you can see, ibomb jar and ibomb jam match. Otherwise, what you can do, and if the jar file won't be with the same name, but you have the jam, you're still in luck, don't worry. Just open the jam file. Now what you can explore here is that it is a descriptor. There's certain information, but now as you can see here, the executable that has to be run when the app is launched is this file over here. As you can see, well, in this case we have the ibomb jar, but if it were like, let's say, bomb jar and didn't match the ibomb, you would know that this is the jar file we have to search for on the website. Now we just go in here, copy it, do the same thing, just replace the last part with the specify the jar file in the jam file, and just click enter, and most of the times you should be able to download that as well. And that's the way to go for it, essentially. And then if you did this for one of the things, just get all of them from the website, go back, try some other stuff here, go into the, so it looks like this is in the game. We have the bump here, some kind of bump game, which isn't still again for the I mode. But again, some sites may have multiple games for I mode. Try checking these out. Also now, what you can do here while you meanwhile, now look for referral sites, and I mean utilize the sites you have found to find the other sites, because generally, well, some of the people cooperated these stuff, and they link to their sites. Now, as you can see, just search some of those websites, and as you can see, this looks like a good candidate to move on from this website. We just click on it. Well, what do you know? And this website's kind of not working, but make sure to go to the main directory, and you may stumble on something. Maybe go in here. Sometimes it's not going to be all nicely displayed, but maybe even utilize the Wayback Machine for this. Try to see the website, what it looked like back in the day. It may not have changed much, but at least there could be certain stuff that are up still. What we can see is this now links to a game site, at least, but it doesn't seem to have some jam files on it, I guess. Try to look for another timeline. As we can see now, go to this page that was up originally. Again, get the same error, just try different times. It might still be there, you know. It might be saved. And what do you know? We have some stuff going on over here. And one can just essentially, as you can see, search around. We just click this, go into this directory, and see if the site's up. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to be the case in this site, but I guess you get the gist. you have to do a lot of digging, a lot of searching, and this is the way to go for it. Now, assume that you have found this out and fully archived it of what you could. Then, just go to the downloads, and once you have all of these files over here, just essentially make a file, a folder with the site name, like where you got it, some example site.com, whatever. Name what kind of, my general rule is to get the site name, what kind of type of games I have found, because it could be iMode, EasyWeb, or SoftBank. So whichever format you have found, name it. For example, this is iMode games, and just double click these guys, drop it in there, and try to move on to the next site, find some other sites. Just collect the sites, zip them up maybe, and just put it on archive.org with whatever name you would find fitting. For example, you could go for iMode games collection or whatever you want. And congratulations, you have officially archived a feature phone game. These were all the steps that it takes to actually be an archiver, which I think is pretty simple, but it takes time and effort, but it's simple. Now, moving on to the fifth part. The fifth part is tips and tricks from my experience, generally. Since this is, I assume, me who has done this the first hand, so there might be certain stuff that you might not be aware of. So let's see here. Generally, I can give you tips for search terms. Searching and using the right terms is the biggest thing, because um, there are extremely specific stuff on the website that you have to look for. Um, one of the things that you could do, generally what I did here, try to search for i-appli, iMode terms. Um, that includes the English or katakana versions of the words. You can now search also, you can also search for um, the word free and game, again in English or katakana. Because well, some of the sites actually advertise themselves as free game portals, and that could also help. Now you can also search for game names, like the terms for the game, maybe search, or even genres, maybe racing or RPG, something along these lines. This has helped me once when I found bootleg version of the official titles. For example, I have found Toho games, which is a bullet hell game, really popular back in Japan. Um, so that's also one of the things. Um, but generally, you really have to get creative with the keywords. You can also utilize certain site name directories. So, generally, people uh, actually put their games in subdirectories of their websites, which were specified as, for example, IM for iMode, i-app or i-appli, or sometimes even the full names, iMode or i-appli. General stuff. Try to actually also experiment with these. Outside of search engines and search terms, you can utilize all some other website as well, where one could find Japanese content on. For example, one of those is Nico Nico, which is like a Japanese YouTube site, as far as I'm aware. You have videos and stuff up there. So same thing applies. Use the same terms that you may use in the search engines, and that also helped me stumble upon some of the developers who actually made the games, and I recorded the gameplay on it, and I've been able to archive these. Also, you can utilize Wayback CDX, which is Wayback Machine or archive.org's specific their own kind of database searching website or a tool, um, and these also help because it searches the whole database and gives you the results as a raw format, as like an HTML. I'll put up a screenshot of it for the example. These also help because they directly give you what you want. So make sure to use those as well. One of the greatest tips is that don't get frustrated if the website is not up or something like that. Utilize archive.org to actually search for a site if it's down or if it's corrupted or something's missing, because it still could be saved back in the Wayback Machine. Also, try to cross-use those sites. Use Wayback for reference of what might have been up, and then use that link in the real-time browser to actually go to that site which has been archived, because it still might be up, but it could be removed from like the main page, and so you can just click and go to there. That's also a thing. That's pretty much what I can come up with. Now we finally arrived at the last part, and that is discussing possible obstacles. Some of those obstacles are that the site might be down and it might not be saved. In this case, the solution is, unfortunately, that site has lost to time and we can't really do anything about it until the owner maybe decides to somehow rehost the website and probably download it then, but that is highly unlikely. The other obstacle is some of the websites require a different user agent or a specific user agent for you to be able to download the game. One of the websites that I know is this site, chopping.net. Now, you might observe, but this looks like the window of a jam file, right? If you right click on it, it says xjam. But if you inspect, it doesn't directly actually link to the gem file directly. It links to a dl.php, and it has some kind of ID which corresponds to the name of the game. Now, I actually haven't found a way around this, but one might actually have to change their user agent to the one which fits of Docomo phone, because for example, if you replace the site with the one that's given in here, as we usually do, will actually redirect us to the page which says that we should only access the website from a Docomo phone. This actually stops you from downloading the game. Now, what you might actually gonna want to do is try to change the your user agent, which can be done from I think network conditions from the top. Like you can see the three dots over here. So you open the dev tools, you go to the more tools, and you go to the network conditions. Now a user agent is specified here. You delete the browser default, and you write in the custom user agent. Now these actually have to be searched up, but we have some on the Cafe Break Discord server, also linked down the invite link in the description. You can go in there and just search the channel for the user agent. There are a bunch of them, and you replace those here, and you refresh the website, and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, because I have done it personally, and I think there was another website which I actually replaced my user agent, but unfortunately it still didn't let me download. So at least for now, those websites are still up, the game still exists on it, but there's this obstacle that I'm not currently at least able to go get past through. If you find a way, make sure to comment it down below, so we kind of make progress in this as well. This is also one of the obstacles that I wanted to talk about. Otherwise, I don't think that I have anything else to say with the obstacles. And we can say that we're kind of done with the video. We have discussed everything that's there to actually know about feature phone preservation without a phone, that is. And yep, this is the end of the video. Thank you a lot for sticking around. I hope this video helps you out a lot to get started and actually help the community preserve the video games for the feature phones. If you have any questions, of course, you can comment down below, or go into the Cafe Break server and ask there. A bunch of people qualified, a lot of them can actually answer on those. You can also find Rockman Cosmo and Naoya Shinoda in there as well. Of course, they're who may have brought you over here as well, as a matter of fact. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your preservation journey.